Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia Pilot into the universe of Chinese. We're going to continue our exploration in one more Chinese expression a day. And this month, in October, I'm stick with 3-character Chinese expressions, which is more lively and probably created more recently in response to the new concepts emerging throughout the globe, mostly Western, I guess. Whoever has the biggest voice in the global idea or concept markets, and then that's Chinese response to the newer emergence versus the 4-character Chinese expressions are more time honored, talked about what happened in the past, in the ancient past, and to kind of encapsulate one Chinese concept or story in 4 character formations. So we're going to look at the recent 3-character translations. Okay, 黑科技. 黑科技 is, okay, in a 3-character Chinese expressions, more often is like 1 plus 2 or 2 plus 1. So 2 of them are going to be one concept, and then we add one additional, in this case, 科技. You see here, I translate as a classify, as craft. That's a Chinese way to say science and technology. So this is a set phrase already, just by 科技 itself. And we plus a 黑, black. Almost like we're using black as mysterious and also powerful, right? So black is a magic color, has many properties. So in Chinese, we're using this paired with 科技, science and technology, to show you some amazing, kind of a surprising, especially given how fast technology develop these days. So almost like anything emerging that can shock people, like, wow, you can do that now. So that gives you this the flavor, the sense, like Chinese would classify them as black. Okay. So start with black. I put in ancient, original Chinese black because as a contemporary Chinese user, I see the rendering of black in this formation. It doesn't really make much sense. Like, what exactly does that mean? It turned out this character has as a whole evolution through different dynasties, different eras of language users add in their own interpretation. So it got transformed so many times that by the time I got it, it no longer makes sense. So that's why I want to put in the original language form to transport us back to the origin of when this character was first created, what it was intended to be. And then each generations later, probably not each generation, probably a couple of hundred years later, would add in their own flavors. So I'm going to skip all that middle evolution, just the beginning. So the beginning, it starts with this almost like teardrop shape, right? With a middle vertical line and with 2 dots in there. And then this almost like 4 limbs and the torso. This weird looking thing was said to be the language symbol to mean that as an ancient punishment. So I guess like contemporary punishment of members of society who made wrongs or who break the laws were mostly jailing, right? Basically time out for that person to be taken out of society, taken out the, to be part of the operation of running of the society, was taken out. So that's prison. That's contemporary punishment form. But in ancient times, there are many, many different varieties of how a person got punished. I guess contemporary, you can pay penalty as well, like a monetary punishment, besides jailing, the time out format. So this is one part of ancient punishment toolkit, if you will. It involves putting kind of a tattoo your face. I mean, your face is the center front eye level, identifier of a person, right? Ancient times, as a punishment, they tattoo your face. In this case, it's almost like 2 black dots right on your face somewhere. So it's almost like as a marker, because tattoo is permanent, right? As a permanent label right on that person's face to show to the rest of the village or tribe that this is a sinned person. Now think about it, pretty severe, right? Like once you get the tattoo, you are permanently stigmatized in your face, marked to the rest of the world that you're sinned. So, okay, that came from that black color of tattoo on that person's face. So this captured a person's face marked by these 2 dots, make it obvious, like as an ancient way of punishing this person. The more I talked about, the more I realized, wow, that's something. In the World War II, the Jewish people got the what do you call it, tattooed serial number on them. That's dehumanize a person to a string of numbers, right? It's also kind of a labeling for easy management or identification of that person ever been in the camp, versus this ancient way. I mean, that one you can still hide it under the sleeve, right? This is right in your face kind of punishment. Okay. Eventually, this becomes, you see this structure kind of corresponding to this structure, but got more smooth lined and kind of blended out. That lost its original meaning of it actually means to tattoo in the face. So here it looks more like a food container, especially at the bottom. Even if it kind of looks like this, originally it could mean the four limbs of a person, but this symbol means fire, and there are 2 fires put below this container. And that was my original understanding. Actually, I saw this texture in this rendering, and I thought, okay, that means you're burning, and it's kind of the charcoal underneath your cookware. When you touch it, it's going to be black, and that's a color black. But when we trace it further down, that's the corporal, severe visual corporal punishment, permanent labeling of a person with black tattoo. Okay, so that's black. I translate it as classify to make it more distinctively ancient, because, okay, science and technology is really a post-industrial revolution kind of thing, right? Or post, what's the era of? Okay, we have a Renaissance a long time ago, right? And then we have this rational thinking starting from probably 17th century, something like that, right? A lot of development in math, and then eventually the astrology, physics, all that, right? All the way to 21st century. So ancient China, first off, Chinese society back then didn't emphasize science and technology, at least not in a way in a contemporary life like us now. Because STEM, okay, that's like the main thing that propel a society to be more competitive. Chinese back then, I guess there were little external competition for the government to really invest in science and technology. And also back then, things were slow. Like you don't really feel left behind or the sense of missing out that strong back then, right? Could be hundreds or centuries, thousands of years later, like no big kind of change. So ancient Chinese, most likely it's classical literature. It's more liberal arts, if you will, in today's category. So that's what students spend a ton of time learning. And if you do end up doing crafts, it becomes craftsmanship. It's not technology, it's not engineering, it's not glamorized as today's society. So science technology, then it becomes, when Chinese have to pull concept from their library of characters, they have to find something as close as possible to represent science and technology, this contemporary concept, right? So science in ancient Chinese, it actually means classify. The reason why is because the left side of here is he, is crop. So it's basically a tree shape, but with top bending over means it's ripening, it's heavy, it's dropping like that. Therefore, it's a crop, it's ready to be harvested. The right side here, three kind of diagonal line with one kind of a curved vertical line that depicts the measurement or the container to measure how much grains. So ancient agrarian society, every year producing crops was the main industry, the main task of the society. And then to measure how many you produce, to quantify it, right, is a big deal that determines how much money you're going to make, right? And then if the right side means quantification, the left side, 和, can mean qualification, because there are different subspecies or types of crops, right? You want to know, okay, for economy crops, or the main staple crops, you have different types of crops, and each one may valued differently according to the market situation, right? So to determine what you're selling, what you're cropping, and how much you're cropping, so you have both the qualification and the quantification. They must be timing, right? This unit price times how much, right? That makes your income. So that basic economic activity was captured in this character. And I translate as a classify. I omit the quantification part, like the measurement part. But it is actually two sides together to determine your income. And this classification, I pull it out as the most prominent feature from this character, because science, I guess, at the beginning of science is to be correctly classifying things. I guess quantifying as well, right? To correctly measure things, to correctly identify things, to put things in the right category, therefore we can treat it correctly. So that's the beginning of what science means, at least to Chinese culture. So this character Ke was then picked up to represent science. I mean, as a language user, I never thought about it. Now it makes sense. Ji, okay, we have 5-finger hand symbol. 5-finger hand symbol have the top tilted toward the right. The reason why is because there is a similar looking character that's here that looks almost the same, and then people differentiate that one from the hand symbol by tilting the hand to the right and tilting the hair to the left. So here is a right tilted 5-finger hand symbol, and we also have 3-finger hand symbol from the bottom right of the screen. So regard this as a 2D screen, bottom right. So hand is holding. Okay, so this thing, one vertical line, but it's not by one exact horizontal line, but instead it's kind of doing this thing, right? So this is Chinese way to depict bamboo. Most of the plants in Chinese are growing like a trident shape. It's pointing upward. It's toward the sun. only bamboo is different. It has the leaves draping downward, kind of like that. So I guess this is kind of a bamboo looking, the most essential. If a pair down, one pair of bamboo leaves will look like that. So Chinese capture that feature of the bamboo leaves, use that as the bamboo representation. So bamboo written by repeating this twice, that's 竹, that's bamboo. But if you remove the second one, you keep only that's single stem of bamboo. I'm guessing bamboo doesn't grow singularly. They grow in a cluster. Therefore, there are two of them. And two doesn't mean just only two, exact two. Two means multitudes. So if you see a bamboo forest, it's always comes in a pack of bamboos. It's not just one. So when you have one, that means this one was taken out singularly by itself. And that's, I'm guessing, the ancient time of bamboo processing, because bamboo as part of everyday life, not only used for food purpose, but also used as construction material back then a lot. Because of the property of this, it's fast growing, it's probably cheap, and it's sturdy enough. It cannot be used as the beam of the house or hold up the weight. No, but for simple furnitures like chairs and tables, all that can be used as bamboo. So this bamboo holding in a hand, that means processing of bamboo, probably taking out the leaves, the branches, just to have one big long smooth bamboo stem. That's itself is the beginning of this bamboo processing to be incorporated into everyday furniture building. I mean, imagine it's not much of a house building, but furniture building, probably house building as well. I don't exactly know, but that's bamboo processing. So this becomes a kind of a specialty, right? And plus this hand symbol. So make sure you know the language, make sure you know that this is handling something, right? And in this case, it's bamboo. So it's a specialized in handling something, and that becomes Chinese craft. So now we have black, classify, craft. You can view it as black, science and technology. And that simply means novel tech or mind-blowing tech. Chinese use that expression a lot in the media because maybe every year there are something blowing our mind. It's hard to understand, hard to grasp. Like how many of us understand LLM or AI, right? In general terms, robotics and bioengineering, so many things are happening in 2023. And so for ordinary, like layperson, how we call them, all that's happening, we call them 黑科技, as if they are black, as if they are in a black box to the ordinary people who are not in that field, have limited understanding or access of that of all, under the hood thing. So Chinese would classify them as black, as some dark magic almost. So I'm picking this dark lighted and dark looking robots, and it's interesting that it's rendered as a female body shape as robots. Probably is feeling less intimidating if put it in a female body. I don't know, but that's a representing of today's happening, and it's related to technology, and it's something that common people don't really know, and Chinese call them 黑科技. Okay, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day. We Sophie, see you next.